So I've had a couple of people in my life compliment me on my voice, my tone of voice, just my overall speech patterns. And I wanted to make this video kind of to discuss why I feel like it's important to understand your speech patterns, how they come across, and just the general how I go about talking, using my voice to benefit myself, whether that's in work or in dating. Those are the two things that I wanted to talk about today, right? So if you want to be a smooth talker, I'm assuming you clicked on this video because you've had some issues with tone of voice, or people just aren't as attracted to you as you think they should be, or you feel like you're not a smooth talker and you want some tips on that, right? And my first tip is that it's not just about your tone of voice. It's not just about how slow or how fast or how low or high pitched your voice is. It's actually more about your demeanor, your body language, your eye contact, stuff like that goes much further than like the speed or the tone of voice. Because I think a lot of people associate smooth talking with a deep voice, which I don't think is necessarily the case all the time, but it definitely does help, right? So what I mean by that is if you're laid back, if you're chill, if you aren't moving around too fast, if you aren't like speaking super fast, if you aren't super active with your tone and your positioning like I am now, then that can contribute to the lack of the smoothness in your voice, right? So that's the first step, right? I want you to take a step back and understand that it's not just about how you speak, it's also about how you carry yourself as well, right? So your demeanor, your body language are just as important, your eye contact, remaining calm. And another thing that I think people overlook when it comes to being a smooth talker is actually listening, right, to the person that you're in a conversation with, because being a smooth talker is a two-way street. You have to listen to what the person you're talking to or the group setting is saying. You have to read the people around you to get a better idea of how to move forward with your tone of voice, right? If you're in a high energy position, if you're in a place that's full of high energy and you are not on that level, then it's up to you to get to that level, right? And you can do that in multiple different ways. But if you want to remain a smooth talker, even in a high energy state, you're still able to do that, but that might take a little bit more practice, right? Because if it's loud, you're in the club, like stuff like that. For example, if you're in a club, it's super hard to get off that smooth talk because like you gotta yell a little bit, the music is super loud, stuff like that, right? So this is more for like conversationalists, like if you're on a date or if you are at a job doing like a sales meeting or something like that, right? So you do want to talk slower. You definitely want to talk slower. Basically, that's what I'm saying. That's the second step that I wanted to touch on. And just being, I think that makes people who listen to you more confident in what you have to say. If you're too fast and all over the place, then it kind of checks off too many boxes at once, and it doesn't leave them with any questions to ask you, right? So I'm gonna demonstrate two examples for you guys. If you're trying to ask a girl on a date, right? So let's say there's a game at 6 that you want to take her to. So I'm gonna do this first example where this guy's too excited. Well, I'll just do it and then you guys can let me know what you think. All right. Hey Samantha, there's a game tonight. I did my research on it. I can pick you up at 6 if you want. I think it'll be super fun, and I already have my clothes lined up, and I hope you are available at 5:30. I'll pick you up then. Right, so my voice got a bit higher. I was a lot more animated, and I was looking around a lot, and I was just spewing off a lot of stuff all at once, right? And the girl might be taken aback, and she might not find that as attractive because you're not like, you're not as sturdy as she would want you to be if you're asking a girl on a date, right? So that's the first example, as opposed to this, right? Hey Samantha, I found this game at 6 o'clock. I think we should check it out. If you're available, I'll pick you up at 5:30. Right? I feel like that comes off a lot smoother. She might have more questions to ask, like, oh, what should I wear? What kind of game is it? You know, stuff like that. I feel like your tone of voice and the less words you say actually spark more interest versus, word vomiting all over her, and she's kind of overwhelmed with the fact that you want to take her on a date. You come across as more needy, and like you don't have as many options, or as if she's the only girl that you are thinking about ever. So she might be turned off by that. And as backwards as that sounds, it's pretty true in my experience, right? So you don't want to get too excited when you're talking. You want to know what you're talking about, because that really helps the flow of your conversation and your speech. And you want to lower your expectations, because I think if you're like, let's say you're in a work setting, right? I'm in sales, right? And if my life depended on making this next sale, then I might be nervous, I might be stumbling, I might say too much, I might talk too much, right? As opposed to lowering my expectations, setting my life up in a way that my life isn't dependent on this next sale. I'm just selling myself as a solution to these people. I'm not trying to overly sell them on stuff they might not need, right? So let's go through another example of a person who's a needy salesperson and a person who is confident and stable and more reliable and trustworthy. So a needy salesperson might be like, hey, welcome to Trader Joe's. We have 5,000 different things in the store. I've tried 4,099 of them. If you have any questions, let me know. My favorite thing is this, this, and this. I don't want to give you time to speak. I'm just gonna keep talking, and then hopefully if you have any questions, you'll let me know. And then I'll stand there, and my sale is dependent on you guys. And everything you touch, I like, yeah, that one does this, this, and this. Oh, that one, you should try this one, blah, 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 right? So again, coming off as a bit needy, talking too much. My life depends on this next sale, right? And I know Trader Joe's isn't commission, but you kind of get the point, right? As opposed to a different sales approach where it's like, hey, my name is Wasim, welcome to Trader Joe's. I've been here for 20 years. Let me know if you have any questions. I've tried a lot of stuff in the store, right? So just that, you give yourself more of a reputable resource. I've been here for 20 years. I've tried a lot of our stuff. And I kind of let you do your browsing on your own, right? I said, let me know if you have any questions. I don't interject myself in conversations that I don't need to be in. I don't talk too much, and that's just kind of how the way it goes. Now you tell me, which approach do you guys prefer? Which approach would you guys rather be hit with, right? If you're asking a girl on a date, which approach do you think would be more successful? Or if you're trying to make that sale, which approach do you think would be more successful? Because in sales, there's a bad reputation with salespeople of like being too pushy and trying to sell stuff and that people might not need. But my thing is, in sales, you want to sell the solution, right? You don't want to sell the product. You'd rather sell yourself as a person who's knowledgeable, a person who knows what they're talking about, who's confident in their product, as opposed to someone who is ambushing them with words to kind of distract them and kind of put the customer off their game, right? So I know I would rather be more with the nonchalant salesperson, or the nonchalant way of asking a person on a date. And that ties into my next point, whereas you still want to provide value. You don't want to be boring just because you're a smooth talker, right? Some people might be like, smooth talking, just like one word answers, or just not even talking really, just like nodding, just having your deep voice and not saying much, right? But I've actually been on a date where I tried this out, where I was too nonchalant in the sense that I was boring, you don't want to be, there's a fine line between being nonchalant and being boring, right? You want to be nonchalant to the point where they ask you more questions and you listen a lot, as opposed to not offering them any value as to who you are as a person, right? Because you still have to have some sort of personality. You still want to have some sort of experience that you can bring to the table, as opposed to like, yeah, that's cool, tell me more. Like that conversation is kind of dry, right? You don't want to have a dry conversation if you're smooth talking. Smooth talking is more about being witty, being quick on your feet, but maintaining a slow, calm pace and listening to the person you're talking to so you can understand what they really need, what they want out of the conversation, and you can kind of mirror where they are. Because some psychology suggests that people like people who are like them, right? What that means is if you're able to kind of mirror their personality or the words that they use, they're more likely to want to work with you or want to be around you more often, right? So these are just some tips that I thought about because I'm a salesman, and I talk on the phone a lot, and your voice inflection matters a lot. So if you guys gained anything from this video, leave a like, leave a comment. I hope something helped, and I'm definitely gonna make some more videos like this because I like talking about this type of stuff, and I can get super energetic about it. And I'm trying not to be, trying not to come off as super over the top, and I just want you guys to get the information from point A to point B in one ear and hopefully it's stuck in your brain. So that's that video. I'll see you guys next time. Thanks.